My name is Doyle Permenter. Our company is Permenter Control Services out of Katy, Texas. We do service work and training on motor drives, DC and AC, and engine generator controls, primarily in the drilling business and on ships worldwide. We wanted to talk to you for a minute about the bathtub curve. If you're not familiar with it, it's something you need to learn because it demonstrates the lifespan of your system. It's important to us because it shows us where we can intervene in your system to flatten out the bathtub curve and extend the service life of your system. The bathtub curve consists of 3 sections. It's the graph of time versus component failure rate. The first section incorporates manufacturing, installation, startup. We can help you make this part of the curve a little bit steeper. Obviously, we want it to be very steep to reflect few failures over a short period of time. Not everything works right out of the box. Sometimes you have component failures with new components. Sometimes components are installed incorrectly. Sometimes components are miswired or misapplied in the system. Where we can help you right here at this point in the curve is we can vet your drawings. We can make sure that your maintenance people have the right drawings on hand, the right manuals, the right resources to help them work on the equipment. We can make sure that you've got the right spares, hardware, software, firmware, and sufficient spare laptops on hand that incorporate the right operating system for you to be able to interface with your controls. We can help you do factory acceptance tests on your equipment. For offshore installations, we can make sure that the cabinets get installed correctly. Chances are, by the time your manufacturer's rep shows up, it's almost ready to turn on. The system is already bolted or welded to the deck. We want to get there before the cabinets are welded down because we want to make sure that the main bus bars are lined up correctly, so that when the bus bar splices are bolted in, the bus bars don't have a lot of mechanical stress on them to make them line up. What we would do is make sure that the bus bar splice plates are installed loosely without the bolts being torqued up, so make sure all the cabinets are lined up, make sure that the main bus bars are lined up. Then we would go back, verify that the cabinets are plumb, square, and true. Then we would allow the shipyard to weld the cabinets to the deck or bolt them to the deck as required. We would go back then and torque the bus bar splice plate bolts to the right torque. Then we're sure that the main bus bars are not under a lot of mechanical stress to stay lined up. The second part of the curve has to do with operation after startup. For years and years and years, this should be a relatively flat part of the curve. There will be failures, of course, but on the long-term average, it should be fairly flat. Where we can help you at this stage of the bathtub curve is we can run service calls to keep your system running. We can help you do preventive maintenance. And we can do training on your personnel to make sure that they know how to maintain the system. All this information I'm giving you is not theoretical. It has to do with our personal experience. At about 10 years, we need to go in and recalibrate the electronics, replace the parts that we think are probably prone to failure very soon within this 10-year period. And if you have an SCR system, we can break down the SCR bridges, get them cleaned up, replace the pitted SCR plugs, and redress the SCR plug heat sinks so that they're nice and clean and shiny again. At about 20 years, we would do the same thing that we did at 10 years. At 30 years, you have a decision to make. You can get rid of your installation. You can replace the control system completely, or you can give it a major upgrade. At this point, you need to do something. In 30 years, at the very least, do a major overhaul in your control system, replace the electronics. You can probably keep the original cabinets, you can probably maintain a lot of the original wiring. This is put in new controllers, and here again, we would redress the SCR bridges the same reason we did in 10 years and 20 years. Let's back up just a little bit. And talk about what I call the shadow failure rate, which applies to digital systems as opposed to analog systems. Now, most new systems are digital, microprocessor based, so this applies to them. This 5 to 8 year curve is not really a failure rate, not a component failure rate. What it is lack of support. You outrun support at this time. You know how quickly computer-based electronics tends to become obsolete. So your system, after 5 to 8 years, you may not have support again. It's obsolete. This goes back to the initial part of the curve. You need to stock up on a lot of spare parts to get you through this 5 to 8 year period if you want to continue on and not replace it at this point. Another thing we can do for you at this point is maybe help you track down the original designers of the equipment. Chances are they moved on, or maybe a different company, maybe they're doing some other different project and forgot about this particular application. We're pretty good at tracking those people down and getting them in touch with you so they can extend your support. That's about it. I hope this helps you out some, and I hope you'll consider us when we need to address your bathtub curves and flatten it out for you if we can. We're on call 24 hours. We travel worldwide, certified for offshore. These are our contact information. Thank you for listening to us, and we wish you good luck with your control systems. God bless.